Task Force Admiral is a naval warfare game in the making by Dry Dock Dreams. Let's take a closer look. What's up and welcome back. I recently stumbled over this quite interesting game. Let's first make clear what it is, or rather what it's not. It is not a Battle Stations remake. It also isn't a Carriers at War clone. It'll be a simulation of commanding a carrier task force with the option to take direct control of vehicles in later releases. As they are a small team, they'll first focus on the core gameplay, which is a smart decision in my eyes. In its core, Task Force Admiral is the 1992 Carriers at War on steroids. It'll run in real time with a pause function. Command, control, communications and intelligence will play a big role, so you'll mostly rely on suboptimal recon data instead of seeing the whole picture at any given time. They plan to simulate surface engagements on par with SSI's Fighting Steel. And finally, the environment itself is sim-like, somewhere between IL-2 Great Battles and IL-2 1946 in terms of physics and graphics. The first playable faction will be the US Navy. Why? Because according to the devs, they have the most interesting single scenarios which the game will focus on its first release. Like already said, as a small team they had to set realistic, achievable goals. The US operations in the Pacific are well documented and there's lots of existing, easily accessible literature, so it's a matter of achievability rather than preference. The devs are sure that the Japanese Navy will work way better in a campaign-based game instead of just single scenarios, and will be integrated into the game later. As well as the Royal Navy. They don't want to deliver a diamond in the rough, but a polished gameplay experience which will be expanded over time. The first release will already introduce most of the ships in service in the IJN in 1942. The second release will then make the Japanese Navy fully playable. Later releases will then concentrate on the Royal Navy and leave the Pacific scenario towards the Mediterranean Sea and the Atlantic. What else can be said about the game? Multiplayer is also planned, but not in the first release. You'll get tons of single player missions and a full scenario builder. So if you like ships and warbirds and/or you're into games like Cold Waters, the Battle Station series, War Thunder or similar stuff, I suggest you keep an eye on Task Force Admiral. It's in development since 2018 and it's done when it's done. I'll post updates as development goes on, so consider to subscribe if you liked the video. Thanks for watching and see you next time.